I'm a chief, I'm an Indian. I go to war with any man. My voice is like an instrument. I'm in the game, they on the bench. So that mean I'm in the field. Tell a bitch don't catch me, but believe I'm about to cop a pill. Feeling like an astronaut. I started from the bottom, baby. Now look at me at the top. That bass go boom, blah, blah, boom. Coming out the gut. At 808, boom, blah, blah, boom. Feel the aftershock. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Two Dumb Yinzers. This is episode 177. What's going on, Big Mike?
Oh, living dream. We are living in the NFL. It's his NFL, and we are just living in it.
Yes. Bailey Zappa. How do you say his name? Zappy?
Zappa.
Zappy. Zapper. Flappy.
Zapper,
He
Hippy Pappy.
Been last night, Mike. Of course, we're talking about the Monday Night Football game. Chicago Bears beat the New England Patriots 33-14, and I can't say that I didn't enjoy this more than mostly anything else that I've seen in the past week.
It was a good aspect of it. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah, what happened? They started Mac Jones, and then they brought in Flappy.
Yeah, they brought in Flappy. Apparently, Belichick was asked after the game, was Mac Jones healthy to play? And he said something along the lines of, like, we didn't get there. Or that didn't happen, or some shit like that.
Yeah.
Being typical Belichick.
Yeah. But, anytime that the Patriots take an ass whooping, it's always good news here in Pittsburgh. We dance, we cheer, we celebrate. It's a thing.
It is, too. I love it. I thoroughly enjoy watching New England get destroyed. Especially
since we beat Tom Brady last weekend.
Yes.
And then the Patriots take an ass whooping from the Chicago Bears. The Bears, a team that aren't generally that good. Now, the final count on that, Mike, was 33-14, and I caught I caught a lot of the game. It was on. I was doing other things, but they were it could have certainly been 40 points. There was a turnover late in the game that put Chicago down in New England's end, and after that, next thing you know, I looked at the TV and the game was over. So I think that they could have certainly put up 40, which I would have freaking loved. If it would have been 40-14. The Bears beat the Patriots. That would have been a good enough Christmas. You wouldn't have to give me anything this year for Christmas.
I would have taken that. I think 40 points put up on them.
Yeah.
I just love watching New England get beat.
Absolutely, man. And in Chicago, I mean, they looked like a decent team. I just think that New England's such a bad team. They're kind of like we are right now. They're rebuilding, and they're just so bad that I think these kind of things are going to happen through the rest of the year with them. I really do.
Yeah, and I'm loving it. Like we were talking about off air, it's nice to see a team like New England finally fall off because it's allowing other teams to rise up. Like everyone kind of saw the Bills coming along, the way they built that team. That Josh Allen, they went out and Stephon Diggs, and they just kept building that team, and then like the Jets coming out of nowhere. Like they were a laughing stock for the longest time. Who saw this coming with the Jets? Like you saw them acquiring talent in players. They have some good players on that defense. I mean, look at Quinton Williams. That dude's a beast. And then there's slowly adding players here and there. They get Sauce Gardner in the draft, and they bring in who's the guy from Jordan Whitehead?
Yeah.
If you want to win in the NFL, you got to have someone from Alabama.
Absolutely.
He was a quick white, right?
He was. I mean, the area, Aliquippa Central Valley.
Yeah. I knew he's from the area. So if you want to play for, if you're a Jets defense, you want to be good, you have to have a guy from the area.
No, absolutely.
It's like a rule. So,
the New York Jets, they've had Darrelle Revis, they've had Ty Law, now Jordan Whitehead, and also you take it way back to the 60s and 70s, the only winning quarterback in Jets history, Joe Namath, is also from here in the area. So yes, if you do ever want to win or have a successful season up in New York, look here.
Yeah, and it's just nice. I love when dynasties fall because you're going to see who's going to rise up.
Yeah,
like when Pittsburgh, when we fell off at the end of the 70s, same thing with the Cowboys. Like who's going to rise up in the 80s?
Yeah.
Now we're seeing New England's falling off. For the most part, Pittsburgh, we only won the two in the past, 20 years, 18 years. But, we are still always in the hunt. Pittsburgh's falling off. New England's falling off. So, okay, who's going to come up? Green Bay's falling off. So, who are these teams that are going to come up on the upswing? So, we're starting to see the Bengals, who are always a terrible organization, but people thought you had a couple years here and there where they might be good. But now, they had that really good year last year. Now they're back into the middle of the pack. But, we're seeing Miami. We're seeing the Jets rise up in the East.
San Francisco. The 49ers are always a team that's quite the opposite of us. When we're winning, they're never any good. And then when they are on their upswing, we're never any good. So, I mean, it's almost like there's never going to be a chance for us to defend and keep them from 6 rings because it always goes on that opposite time with San Francisco.
It's always like Pittsburgh and Dallas seem to always have like parallel success.
Yeah.
We saw it in the 70s, in the 90s. They won their Super Bowls, and we had a chance to dethrone them, but two miscommunications away from winning the Super Bowl. Right now they had some playoff success, underachieved. Pittsburgh had playoff success, but underachieved. It's that parallel, but like you said, Pittsburgh and San Francisco, one has to be good for the other to be bad. It's comical.
And Green Bay is kind of like that too. They always come in at the end of our run. Like in the 90s when we were doing good, we worked up to the Super Bowl, and then Green Bay kind of came and took over from there. And then who also beat us in our last Super Bowl was Green Bay. So it always kind of seems like they're on the late end of our upswing, and they get in there. The Jets you mentioned earlier, Mike, they signed James Robinson from the Jaguars because of the injury to their running back this past weekend. Yeah. Is that a good pickup for them?
I think it is. I like James Robinson. When he came out, he was a rookie 2 years ago, undrafted out of Michigan. And he took the league by surprise.
Yeah,
he was just like more or less like an undersized back, but that's not afraid to run through people. And it's a good signing. Last year he got hurt. Jacksonville last year under Urban Meyer, they took Travis Etienne in the first round at the tail end there, and people are like, why take him? And Robinson got hurt last year, blew out his Achilles, so it kind of worked out there. Now it's working on even more because you have those 2 running backs. You're able to trade one. It was a smart move by the Jets. The Jets are, they've accumulated a lot of draft picks. They have a lot last year. I think they have a decent amount this year, so it was a smart move. You trade him for a 6th-round pick, conditional 5th. So it's really not going to hurt them in draft capital wise. It helps Jaguars, lighten up, you don't have to split carries with your running. Okay, Etienne's our guy. We're going to have someone after him instead of having these 2 try and fight for carries. And, because, New York, man, they lost their star rookie running back who was taking the league by storm. So now, boom, you get James Robinson. I think that's it was a great pickup. Smart pickup. And this is a team, it looks like the Jets are trying, win now.
The Jets are, believe it or not, in the newest power poll in the NFL. I'm sorry whether you put much stock into this or not. The New York Jets are sitting at number 7, Mike. They're the 7th best team in the league according to the latest power poll. Eagles, who we play this week, are number 1, and the Steelers dropped to 28. Mike, we're 28. There's about 4 teams worse than the Steelers right now according to the poll. And 28 versus 1. What's your early? Give me an early prediction for this game. Obviously, you go ahead. What's your early prediction
for the Steelers game?
Yeah.
Oh, who are we playing?
The number 1 Eagles.
Yeah. I know. I was just trying not to say it. God, I saw a stat yesterday. I think I told you off air. It's like since 1966, there's something along the lines like Pittsburgh's like
0-9 since 65.
Yeah, 0-9.
Yeah.
Philadelphia, games at Philly. Like even when we had those great teams, even when we had dominant offensive lines, the Eagles just steamrolled us. This will be a
Steeler win. You watch.
I see a lot of fans saying that.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh fuck! I don't want to pick them.
Yeah, I know. Come on, you're gonna be part of that.
Yeah.
At least on Twitter, and I'm part of this group too. Us people on Twitter, we're not sane. We're either completely irrational or we're completely too rational for our own good, too pragmatic to not allow any like hyperbole. So I tend to like trash the people that are overly optimistic,
right?
Even though I'm overly pessimistic, because everyone's kind of like in the middle. But I don't see us winning this game. I don't see it being close.
I say we win. It's going to be, in the scoring range of what we usually do. Maybe like one of these 23 to 20 games, something like that. I just, again, I don't know. I don't really ever pick against the Steelers, and I always kind of look at it like, oh, you know what? This could be that one game that they win because it is a really good team that we're not supposed to win against. And that's generally, the Steelers do that sometimes. They win that big game, and they come out and lay an egg against teams that aren't any good. So again, I am going to take the Steelers in that range, somewhere of 23-20, give or take. It's going to be that kind of score, in my opinion. Mike, do you see with the trade deadline, do you see any splashes? Is there anybody that's going to make any serious splashes trade wise?
Well, we keep hearing how Green Bay's looking for a receiver.
Yeah.
Claypool's been linked there. I saw like a couple Giants receivers linked there, the ones that haven't been doing well. Who's it? Galladay, Holiday, whatever his name is. This is how in tune I am with the Giants roster. If it's not Saquon Barkley, I don't know anyone on the Giants roster. Let me see. Pulling up their roster real quick. Kenny Galladay. Excuse me. I don't know why I always want to call him Holiday. Doc Holiday or something. He's been. I saw him linked to Green Bay because he has his bloated contract. He has like no touchdowns. Like the 2 years he's been there. Kadarius Toney, one of their, I think he was a rookie last year. He's been linked to. I thought I saw him pop up in trade rumors for Green Bay. It's all coming back to Green Bay wanting wide receivers.
Yeah,
this is the first time they've been below 500.
And here's the thing. I mean, they're going to go and throw away draft picks or just something that's not very desirable for their team. And they're probably still going to stink. They're a bad team. They're not really playing that good. I've watched the game the other day. It was actually they finished the game with one of these lateral plays to try to win it. They were down, and everyone was doing good. The ball was actually getting moved up the field pretty fine until Aaron Rodgers got it.
Yeah.
He takes it and he chucks it across the field, and it was like where the guy's legs were, and it went out of bounds, and the guy missed it. And
I saw that.
Did you see that?
I saw that. Can you figure when he gets to your quarterback, he's going to be the one to make the smart decision on the lateral.
Yeah, he'd be the one to read things and see things that other people weren't seeing, and getting the ball there more accurately than the offensive lineman that's throwing the ball across the field or whatnot. But it was nice to see. He's a weirdo. He's a bit of a freak in nature. So you know what? It's nice to see them take the L as well.
No, that meme. Every time I see him, it's like that meme that comes back, flashes into my mind. It's like Aaron Rodgers looks like the guy that steal your catalytic converter out of your car and sell it for meth. Like he does. He does. Like you look at Tom Brady in shape for how old he is, a good-looking guy. Aaron Rodgers has aged horribly. People want to always made fun of Ben for being fat, skinny. Aaron Rodgers, man, he's just looking worse and worse as the years go on.
The funny thing about Aaron Rodgers, he goes for these fatty looks, to the fad, the mustache, the slicked hair. All of his fads are stupid. You know what I mean? Why would you go with them? Sometimes people do that. They dip back and go with a look that was popular in the past, but he just picks these dumb looks.
He went for the John Wick look.
Yeah.
A while ago. Last season, he grew everything out for Halloween.
Mm-hmm.
And it did not work. Dude looks terrible.
He's a fucking goober.
He is.
Big fucking eyes.
Yeah, I know. But he's really good at fucking football.
Like a lemur.
He said like a lemur.
Last night, Pittsburgh Penguins, they take the loss finally. Usually they're the team running up 6 goals. The Edmonton Oilers score 6. They win 6-3 with 5 unanswered goals. The Penguins dropped to 4-1-1. Crosby had a goal. Malkin had an assist. And I'm gonna just slide. I'm gonna slide across. Happen to see that the Iron Man Phil Kessel ties with 989 straight games.
I saw that, and I love it.
Yes.
I root for the guy who looks like me the most.
He's a Penguin at heart. I don't care what anyone says.
I was like how people want to say Phil Kessel's fat. His face is chubby.
Yeah.
Dude's in shape, but my buddy Mark Madden says, you can't pull fat You know, all these guys that are in shape, pulling muscles. There's Phil, man. You know, looking like one of us out there, just playing away.
Yeah,
And I look at like some people are trying to discredit it because he doesn't hit anyone. He doesn't really go into the forecheck. So he suited up. He showed up for 900 games in a row in the NHL.
yeah,
I give him credit because there's a lot of times at the end of the season when the season's wrapped up, you can take a day off or here and there. And he shows up every day.
absolutely, man. Phil Kessel, the whole entire time he was here, there was nobody. You know what I mean? You were happy with him. He was he was everything that you wanted as a hockey player in your town.
Yeah, he's that throwback to the late '80s, early '90s. Like I just want to play offense.
Yeah,
Just let me play offense. Who cares about defense? Because I'm sorry, hockey has become so where if you don't play two ways, you're not that good. No, I like the guys who just want to play offense. Like Ovechkin's fun to watch. He sucks defensively. I wouldn't want him on my team.
yeah,
I take that back. I would because he's scoring like almost like 1,000 goals. It feels like.
hmm
But like it's fun to rip on them. Like you can't play defense, your liability. But it's fun to sit there and watch them score and let Phil Kessel just snipe away. I can do that. I can sit there and watch that all day long.
absolutely.
And Phil Kessel still had like in Toronto. They said all he wanted to do was eat hot dogs.
Yeah,
He won that first cup. What's he do? He takes the Stanley Cup with him to the golf course and fills it up with hot dogs.
yes.
I love it. I love it.
Why is that so weird? That's all I want to do. All I want to do is eat hot dogs. Pittsburgh Penguins again. They dropped to 4-1-1. They continue their tour across Canada. They play the Calgary Flames tonight at 9:00.
Plus 12 goal differential.
Is that where we're at? Plus
Yeah.
12.
Yeah. It's they're lighting it up, man. They have 29 goals, and that's like just a quick look through the league. That's like tops.
Yeah.
Top scoring team. 17 against it. Hey man, plus 12. That's the best differential in the league. We'll take it.
Yeah, right. You keep putting up 6-point games, you're gonna be there.
Edmonton's no slouch, man. They're a good team.
Absolutely.
Oh, they have a lot of talent up there. So
Still, today is Tuesday. We're still waiting for Game 1 of the World Series, which is Friday at 8:03. It's going to be the Philadelphia Phillies at the Houston Astros. Game one in baseball play. World Series, the World Series, Mike. And you like the Philadelphia Phillies in this?
is that who I was saying yesterday?
Yeah.
Yeah, you took the evil empire. Yeah, I want Philly to win again just to see what they're gonna do. Because it's baseball. It's different if it's like football. I don't care if they win. Baseball, I don't care if they win. If it's hockey, I would be rooting against them.
Yeah.
You can have a team full of like Jeffrey Dahmers, Adolf Hitlers, Stalins. I'd root for that team over the Philadelphia Flyers any day of the week.
Right.
You can have Attila the Hun out there scoring 80 goals for that team. I'm rooting for him over the Flyers.
And again,
it's all about principles, damn it.
Yeah. And again, that's Friday. Game 1, 8:03, Philadelphia at Houston.
In Philly, they're that scrappy team. They qualified on the last day of the playoffs. Last team to make it into the playoffs.
Baseball players are so bizarre. You could be the best team all year. You could have 125 wins, and you lose in the first round. And then it's so quick, it's so rapid. The playoffs, a round is over before you know it. You do three things and you realize that there was 3 games played in the meantime. It goes fast. We're already in the World Series. I don't expect that to be any different. This World Series will be over real soon. Watch. Let's jump down to college football for a moment, Mike. We have a couple big games. We got at least one big game this week. Let me hit Pitt first. Pitt at number 21, North Carolina. I'm completely entirely through with the Pitt's quarterback. I'm done. I have no faith in this guy. I wouldn't be surprised if they lose every single game the rest of the year. Slovis is the worst quarterback I've ever seen in my life.
And we've seen some bad quarterbacks.
He's not a quarterback. This kid, he's probably like a biology fucking I don't know. He's just not he's a terrible quarterback. I can see getting away with this, if you're in high school and you're just gonna run, try to pass every once in a while. This is Division I college football. This is where the best of the best go. And to be that terrible, to be incapable of doing almost anything at the quarterback position, it's a fucking mess. There's no way I'm going to continue to root for that because there's. You know what? I'd put anybody in there, Mike. I'd put the fucking punter in. If somebody was in there that could throw the ball to somebody,
Right.
and here's the thing, you're literally, and don't get me wrong, I'm not taking anything away with it. It's a very hard sport. There's a lot of skill that goes with it. But to take a ball and throw it to another person on your team, it can't be the hardest thing in the world if you were a quarterback. This should not be something that you have a problem with. That is literally, maybe if you can't do that, go do something else. Cooking, I don't know, whatever it is. But the fact of the matter is, Slovis sucks, Mike. I personally, I can't ever say that I've ever seen a Division I quarterback as bad as this kid.
Yeah, and like going into the season, he was doing like with those 1,000 reps with all of his receivers, trying to get on the same page because he's transferring over. You're thinking, all right, they're going to have some chemistry going in, some confidence, and it just has not been there.
It's like starting over with on day one with him every game, almost like Mason Rudolph in a way. Like, where is the progress? You see a little bit of progress happen, and then they come out on the. Don't give me that look, because you know damn well.
Mason has showed steady progress.
I've never seen it, but
just because you hate him.
I don't hate him. I don't hate him at all.
You hate him the way I hate Kenny.
I do not. That's false. But I can't continue to watch because, again, he comes out next week. Let's say he has a little bit of progress, and you're like, okay, he could build on that and do a few things, and he doesn't. He comes back out and he's just as bad the following week. It hurts. It hurts to watch the Pitt games, and especially now that they were getting a little better, you kind of have a little bit of expectation. Okay, maybe we could win. Let's win some games. He comes out and he's terrible. Mike, I've never seen a quarterback like this in college. There's no, he's not a playmaker. He's not a good quarterback. He's just, it seems like he's a guy just taking up space. Mm-hmm. But you look at the guys, you look at the other guys. Patty, who'd you say the other day? Patty, and there was somebody else.
No, was it? No, I think Patty, and I think he's the backup.
They're all bad. They're all equally as bad. They have an abundance of equally bad quarterbacks.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's real bad, dude.
Oh God, yeah. Oh, yeah. I just pulled up Nick Patty's stats. Yeah, I don't want to talk about it. But like Slovis, man, he had that real good first year at UCLA or USC, and then it's just gone downhill.
I want to see the footage to this. I have the hardest time in the world believing that he had a successful college football quarterbacking season. I
30 touchdowns, 9 picks in 2019.
Wait, what is it?
30 touchdowns, 9 picks.
See, now how the what? No.
And then, 3,500 yards. Then the next year, 1,900 yards, 17 touchdowns.
God, dude, the guy can't throw a reception.
Next year, 2,100 yards, 11-8, 5-5. He, like I said yesterday, he's the
1,300.
Kenny Pickett. Kenny Pickett was bad, good. This guy was good, bad. So you replace Kenny Pickett with his mirror universe, the polar opposite.
Literally, they don't pass. How in the world did this guy get 1,300 yards is beyond me.
35, yeah. 71% completion percentage at UCLA, 3,500 yards, 30 touchdowns, 9 picks, like a 167 quarterback rating, college quarterback rating.
Hell no!
I know, like this dude, you're like, all right, this guy is looking legit. Then comes back to earth this sophomore year. Like, okay, we can.
Bro,
it's going to be a bad year. Okay, you work on him. Teams figure it out. But my man's just got worse year after year.
Dude, he doesn't look like he knows what he's doing at all. He
reminds me of Christian Hackenberg at Penn State. He was the same way. Had a really good freshman year, then progressively got worse year after year after year. It sucks like when your college has a bad quarterback because they never want to go, it seems like, to the next one in line. Because if you have a bad starting quarterback, usually your backups aren't going to be that good. Like, because like Pitt's not known for recruiting like high-end quarterbacks. They had Marino. That was it. Same thing with like Penn State. Penn State really doesn't get the blue chip quarterbacks. You have to luckily, hopefully you find someone. And they had success here and there, but it's not like Alabama where, Mac Jones was a damn good college quarterback. Tua, damn good college quarterback, turning into a damn good pro quarterback. I had luck at back-to-back quarterbacks. Pitt and Penn State, man. We're always trying to find that quarterback.
You know, and
Every
you would
once in a while
think
we get someone who's serviceable, but that's about it.
you would think in one of these games against a team that's a team that they should win against a team that isn't really that good, that this quarterback would step up and have a big game.
Yeah.
250, 300 yards. It doesn't happen. I can't imagine. I've watched every Pitt game this year. I can't imagine where 1,300 yards came out of his arm. I can't put it together in my head.
Are they count like handoffs to a Bandit Canada as a pass play?
I'm starting to
help
think
this guy
so.
out?
Put your chastity belts on. We're going to the middle of the state. Children, protect your children. We're going to Penn State for a minute here. So we have Penn State versus at home against Ohio State. Now, Ohio State, Mike, is what, 2? They're 2 in the land?
They are number 2 in the land.
And Penn State is 13. So I think that this game here is going to be an intriguing one. And almost like the Michigan game, like whenever it was a good game all the way up until halftime. And then after halftime, Michigan came back out and laid the smackdown on Penn State. If they could have figured out how to somehow neutralize what it was for Michigan to do, it could have been a lot closer game. I don't know. I think that Penn State's close. They're close. If they could beat Ohio State in Happy Valley this weekend, that could be the biggest upset of the year. Bigger than Tennessee over Alabama.
Yeah. I think it would go up there, but I'm just not seeing it.
You're not feeling it?
I'm not feeling it. I just brought up like team stats right here. I know that doesn't tell you the whole story, but points per game: Ohio State 49, Penn State 33. Points allowed: Ohio State 14, Penn State 18. So pretty good defenses, but Penn State, they got trounced by Michigan at the end there. And Penn State, man, we have like undersized offensive and defensive line. And going up against like the bigger schools, man, we saw what happened to Michigan, and I think we're gonna see what's gonna happen with the Buckeyes, man. Like we have some guys that they're undersized, but they're they're quick, they're fast on the D line. But man, you get those big, strong guys up front, it's gonna be rough.
Absolutely.
Stroud has 28 touchdowns.
Yeah. No,
Sean Clifford somehow has 13. How he has 13, I don't know.
Right. So that is this Saturday. This Saturday, it's going to be Ohio State at Penn State. I would like to see, and it's a long shot. But here's the thing to me: it seems like you get a team that's ranked 13, and the difference between these calibers of teams in college football, it's mind blowing. Because you have a team that's, let's say 2, 3, and if they would play a team that's, 10 through 13, you would think that it would be a considerably close game. However, when you get these teams that are, top 5 playing teams that are 10, 11, 12, 13, there's a world of difference.
Mm-hmm.
And, I wish there was something that could bridge that gap a little bit. So games between 1 through 5 and teams that are 10 through 15 would become a little closer, because it seems like 1 through 5 is head and shoulders better than everybody else.
Yeah.
And those games never really go the way of the underdog, with the exception here and there. I would like to see that bridge. You know what I mean? It would help college football.
It would, and I just once Penn State gets inside that top 15, I worry. That's like when we start losing games over and over again.
Yeah,
and I'm surprised. Normally, like we lose that Michigan game, you lose the Wisconsin game or the Minnesota game, then you lose the Ohio State game, then you lose the game after, then they finally rebound at the end. Well, this year they broke that streak. We did lose to Michigan. We had a tight game against Minnesota going into the half, and then after that, Penn State just asserted their dominance of like, no, we're the better program, we're the better team, and they just shut them down, and then they just started piling on touchdowns. Going up against Ohio State, Penn State can't afford the slow start on offense like they normally do with Sean Clifford. It takes him a while to get going. In years past, like when we were like alternating wins against Ohio State, when we had Saquon Barkley and Trace McSorley, you were able to do that kind of slow start because you had the defense and you had the players on offense to, okay, you're eventually going to rally and come back and play well.
Yeah.
Can't do it with this team, man. They have so many players that are going to go in the first round. It's CJ Stroud. He's probably going to go. He's going to go in the top 10 of the draft, and they got these receivers. Marvin Harrison Jr., Ugabaka.
Chewbacca.
Ugabaka.
The fuck is that?
Egbuka. Great name. Great name. I can't pronounce it. He's only a sophomore, but this dude's tearing it up.
Yeah, right. Great name.
Great name. Like last year, he had 9 catches, 191 yards. This year, 41, 735, 7 touchdowns.
Well, they play cupcake teams for.
They played a lot of cupcakes, but they have some receivers. Let me tell you.
Well, that helps,
Julian Fleming, Marvin Harrison Jr. I forgot about Jackson Smith and Njaba. Like this talent everywhere on this roster on offense. Penn State, they're gonna. I don't want to talk about it. I'm done.
One thing that I think is way underrated, Mike, in the not only the NFL, not only college, but just football in general. I think that the stiff arm.
Mm-hmm.
The stiff arm is way underrated. I seen somebody in the game. It was either last night or Sunday night, and they gave a seriously strong stiff arm. That's one of the most effective things that you could do if you're, especially if you're running to the sideline, you're running anything where you're trying to stretch the field a little bit. A lot of times these guys will just put their heads down. They'll take the hit. They'll get tackled. You put that stiff arm right up in somebody's grill. The guy that I just seen, he just went straight back. It's so unexpected anymore. Nobody does the stiff arm. I think if people would really start to coach and teach and support the stiff arm, it would be really effective.
I love a good stiff arm.
Yeah,
they're fun, man. Like what was it last year? Najee just destroying DBs. We saw Vance McDonald when we had him against Washington, just destroying a DB with it. Travis Henry just destroying people with that big stiff arm. It seems to be like a lost art of going out of the way. People tend to like to lower the shoulder more, or if they put it out there, they're just putting it out there with a little shove, not that big. You're just like, I'm gonna like destroy you,
right?
Stiff arm. And when you see them now, man, they're fun. You get excited to see it because that used to be like the thing back in the day.
Yeah,
when we were growing up, it was like the stiff arm.
Even the Heisman, it's kind of based off that stiff,
But I can see why like a lot of people don't do it. Maybe it's because they don't want to get hit in the head. So they don't want to hit people in the head, taking care of each other. Ugh. But it's fun to watch. It's fun to watch a good stiff arm.
Yeah.
And then you get the DB coming up. They're like, he's face mask.
Yeah.
And all the every stiff arm every good one you see, they practically are a face mask.
Yeah, that's why it's so effective.
Yeah, it's like the offense is getting away with the free face.
Yes, that's why you should use it. Hines Ward really utilized the stiff arm, and you know what? How many times he got to continue running after he would do a good stiff arm, another 5, 10, 15 yards down the field. I think it's totally underrated. I would love to see the stiff arm make a comeback. Again, I seen one the other night, and it was beautiful. The guy didn't expect it. He was coming in. He had his head low. He wasn't even looking. Right in the guy's face, and he's, I loved it. Love the stiff arm.
Ryan loves the stiffies.
Love the stiffies.
Nothing wrong with that, man.
Brittany Griner loses her appeal in Russian court. So it looks like the only way she's going to be coming home in any time in the next decade will be in some kind of Russian prisoner swap, which could very easily happen. I know that we have important people that we have locked away, so we'll certainly trade a basketball player for an important spy. Us.
Yeah, that's just, if we could put a tracker in that spot.
Yeah. Peyton Manning. Here's one, Mike. Now, I'm not going to touch on his touchdowns, but Peyton Manning as a rookie had 28 interceptions. He was intercepted 28 times. Okay, I see the look in your eyes. Well, how many touchdowns did he have? He had 26. Nonetheless, 28 interceptions for a rookie would normally be a bad sign, right? I don't know. We just been talking a lot about these rookie quarterbacks and what their interceptions, and that was just one that caught my eye. It doesn't, a lot of interceptions your rookie year doesn't equal a bad career.
But you have to remember, this is Peyton Manning. everyone knew him coming out that he was going to be a beast.
But still, he throws 28 interceptions in a season. I mean, that's no good no matter who you are.
Ryan Leaf threw, let's see, he has 36. Ryan Leaf had 36 interceptions in his career. I like it. Like, no one ever compares a rookie quarterback to someone who would turn out to be a bust. It's always like, we're going to compare to a Hall of Famer that people.
I don't want to compare anybody to Ryan Leaf. That guy, I wouldn't compare my garbage man to Ryan Leaf.
His first year, he threw 2 touchdowns, 15 interceptions. Hey, that's almost exactly like Kenny Pickett. Kenny Pickoff.
That's actually nothing like him because Kenny still has a lot of season left. But
he's gonna. Ryan Leaf played 10 games, threw 2 touchdowns, 15 picks. Kenny's thrown 7 picks already in less than half of that.
Yeah.
So why don't we compare him to Ryan Leaf?
Because we'll talk.
Why is it always like, we're gonna compare him to one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time?
What's P. Morton? Everybody forgets Peyton was hot trash his first season,
but everyone knows Peyton Manning was a great college quarterback.
Nothing is guaranteed. There's been plenty of great college quarterbacks that came into the pros that flopped. Plenty. The list goes on and on and on. Peyton Manning is not an exception. He's a quarterback who was good. A lot of people were talking good about him, and he comes to the pros and he has a good career. There's plenty.
Kenny Pickett was a forgotten afterthought.
He played 4 games. Give him some time. Fuck. 4 games. If he even. I think it was like 3.5 games.
That underimpressed everyone until his last 10. Peyton Manning wowed everyone his entire college career.
That doesn't equal anything in the NFL. You come to the pros and be the best college quarterback ever, and still flop.
Yeah, Ryan Leaf. Ryan Leaf was a damn good college quarterback, and he flamed out.
Absolutely.
Why is no one comparing Kenny Pickett?
Because Kenny played 3.5 games. You got to give this guy some time.
Right. Ryan Leaf, 10 games his rookie year, 2 touchdowns, 15 picks.
Nobody cares about Ryan Leaf. Nobody cares.
Because he was a bust. What about Cade McNown?
So you're going to take the worst quarterbacks and you're going to compare.
So, but you and everyone else are comparing him to Terry Bradshaw, Peyton Manning,
because they have also similar numbers. Yes. So you're taking the worst.
To similar numbers of bust.
No, that's all the people are doing. You are like the rest of Twitter. You are the voice of Twitter. I'm basically debating against Twitter because everything that's coming out of your mouth is what I'm seeing on Twitter. So I'm basically trying to switch it up a little bit and say, hey, look at this guy, instead of keep arguing these same arguments every day with the Leaves and the McNabb. Okay, all right. We could just give the guy more than 3.5 games and maybe, just maybe, he could do something.
But everyone wants to talk about these guys. Everything I see on Twitter is, we have to give him time because Peyton Manning, Ben Roethlisberger, Terry Bradshaw, but no one wants to bring up all these other quarterbacks that were bust. Everyone wants to go and take a look at the Hall of Famers.
You got to give more than 3.5 games. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, you have to, but you can't immediately start comparing him to Hall of Famers. You got to,
or you can't start comparing him to the worst quarterbacks that came out ever. You just
why not? Everyone can.
And why can't you compare him to the guy that had 28 interceptions for the same reason?
I'm the asshole because I want to compare him to bust.
Nobody's calling you an asshole. I'm just saying that you're taking that side of the tracks, which is fine. But again, that's all that I'm seeing everywhere. So I kind of came in a different direction. I used a name that I haven't seen anywhere used in a Kenny Pickett conversation with Peyton Manning. I haven't seen one. Not one. Not one.
What?
Not one.
Anyone on Steelers Twitter and Twitter.
Pull them up and put them on the screen right now. I want to see because I haven't seen one comparison to Peyton Manning.
Oh my!
Come on, we have access. Put it on the screen. Pull up your phone.
Let's see. Okay, hold on. Let me pull up Twitter.
Find me a Peyton Manning comparison with Kenny Pickett.
Let's see if hold on.
I'll play some.
I don't know how to search on
beautiful music in the meantime. P. Morton, Manziel got some time because, you know what, Manziel was. You kind of knew that he was a jerk off. There was something about Johnny Manziel, and when he was in college, he was just this guy. It was like, what's going to happen with him? I figured Johnny Manziel to be somebody that would be like on one of these shows they have on VH1.
He doesn't have a great arm, but he can make all the throws. He's downfield and can process. Good pocket presence to buy time. Doesn't look physically imposing, but it has some Peyton/Eli Manning type qualities. For what it's worth, can he pick his talent to this Peyton Manning? No. Can he win a Super Bowl with him? Yes, enough said.
What's the source on this, Mike?
These are fans.
Oh, okay.
Listen to the crew on 93.7 Fan. Makes me laugh how they're going to judge Kenny Pickett. Just a reminder, Peyton Manning went 3-13 his rookie year. Kenny Pickett, if I have to hear about a Peyton Manning in reference to Kenny Pickett one more time, now I'm going to commit, and they don't say suicide, but you know what they mean. Let's see. Peyton Manning threw 26 TDs at 28 picks his rookie season. I don't have a problem with Kenny Pickett sitting on the bench to the Steelers for at least the best option. Once again. Yeah. See, people were talking about Kenny Pickett, and Peyton Manning, Kenny Pickett and Ben, Kenny Pickett and you even brought this up the other day with Troy Aikman.
What did I bring up about Troy?
Troy Aikman had a terrible touchdown to interception ratio his rookie year.
No, I was just simply making the point that Troy Aikman was on a very. I don't even think that team won a game. They won one game, didn't they?
Yeah.
That's all I was referring to. I wasn't really referring to him as an individual.
Bring up these great quarterbacks, but everyone wants to bring up the bust.
You know what I forgot to do, Mike?
What?
Madam, I request that you immediately send me pictures detailing your beautiful bosom in support of the national holiday known as Titty Tuesday.
Okay, now I feel a lot better.
Okay. Achilles Smith, baby. Achilles Smith and Kenny Pickett will live in together.
So Kenny looks like a huge Louisiana missing link.
Kenny Pickett looks like a 24-year-old quarterback should be in his 6th year again at Pitt so he can have 2 good years in college.
I think that Mike eventually is going to rip his shirt open, and we're going to see a big Cleveland Browns helmet right on his chest. I don't think that I've once ever heard you say anything positive about this football team.
What is there positive to talk about outside of Minka Fitzpatrick?
I just, the team is obviously a success. The team is obviously a successful organization.
Yes, and I have talked about them plenty when they are good.
See, I don't recall. I want you to. You need to write a report, Mike. I want to hear nothing but nice things for once coming out of your mouth about this football team.
Well,
and I'm going to grade it. I'll grade it on air.
There's nothing nice to say right now. I am.
Just about your organization, about your team, about your franchise. It don't even have to be about what's going on now. I want you to just say the nicest things ever.
We had a great offensive line in the 70s that was pharmaceutically enhanced.
See, you always got to put the negative twist. What is your problem? What is wrong with you?
Green is the greatest defensive.
Maybe you ought to travel back to 1989 when the Browns won a division, and get your Browns gear out.
The Pittsburgh Steelers had the number 1 and number 3 cornerbacks of all time, and Rod Woodson and Mel Blount. We've had 2 of the greatest linebackers to ever play on this team. It's better. We've had one of the best two of the greatest running backs in NFL history in this organization. What else?
But I'm sure whenever Bettis was in there, he was bad mouthing him. Oh, this guy can't run.
Bettis looks like me. I like to run. We had shoeless Ike Taylor, who couldn't read, couldn't write, but could play cornerback with the best of them. If he would have caught half the interceptions he dropped,
he would have been the best. Yeah, he would have been the best cornerback ever.
He was. I was watching something on the NFL Network. They're like talking about a cornerback. I'm like, man, if he could only catch, it'd be great. I'm like, it's Ike Taylor 2.0.
Yeah.
But no, I love the Steelers, but I'm not afraid to speak rationally about them.
I honestly think the guys with nubs would have been better. A guy with nubs would have been better at catching, because I've seen guys with nubs catch footballs, and there's Ike with full-grown human adult hands that just couldn't catch. I've literally seen guys with nubs that were able to catch things.
Yeah. I just remember he played the same time as Darrelle Revis, and they always had the Revis Island. And then one game they were showing Ike Taylor, and they're like, should there be a Taylor?
Oh.
And he was shutting down T.O., Ocho Cinco when he was dominating, and also in the same game, Hushmanzada, all these top receivers, he was dominating, but my man could not catch a ball to save his life.
Yeah, I would like to see him. I would have liked to see him nub some picks, man. But he did. He would have. If he would have. Let's see. Pete says he was a corner because he couldn't. You know what, Pete? That's a very good point. I made that point to Mike a while back. That's why these guys are corners, because they're not good enough to be receivers, and that is the case. But you know what? If you watched the Steeler game yesterday, or a couple nights ago, the five dropped interceptions. That's not an excuse. These guys still are professional athletes. If you would go, to a gathering or a family reunion, and these guys were out catch football, they would make it look so effortless, so seamless. But when they go out on the field and where they're being paid millions of dollars to do that, I just don't understand why they forget how to catch. Even as a cornerback, even as a linebacker, you see tight defensive linemen who get interceptions. Why these cornerbacks couldn't pull in one of these five picks?
It was Ike Taylor Appreciation Night, man. I saw someone tweet that, and I loved it.
We do want to say we appreciate our Mexican. We have a large Mexican audience, Mike. We've been having a lot of people join lately from our Mexican listeners. So we want to say welcome and thank you. And also, I do want to do a little appreciation. Not even a little appreciation, just a little. I wanted to defend some people. Just bear with me and hear me out. I came across this, and it was by somebody in the former Washington Redskins.
Commanders.
Here we go. No offense to anybody, by no means, but when the NFL wanted Washington to change their name because it was degrading, I think they should have asked Native Americans that have roll numbers to vote. Most of my people were not offended. Cheyenne, Crow, Sioux, who was an Indian, and also one other one, Mike, I do want to read. Walter Blackie Wetzel, a Blackfeet leader, designed the Redskins logo in 1972, inspired by Chief Two Guns Whitecalf. It made us all so proud to have an Indian on a big-time team. It's only a small group of radicals who oppose those names. Indians are proud of the Indians, Walter Blackie Wetzel wrote in the Washington Post. So that's my case. The Indians didn't actually want the Indian to go away. They were proud.
They did, but people did. Native people did.
The small groups of radicals, you're right.
Those two people were saying it was two small groups.
Well, yeah.
That's what they are saying. And
so I'm going to take your word, who's just coming up with this now, opposed to what's actually written here in 2002 and 2013.
So 2002 and 2000, so something 20 years ago and something about 8 years ago.
Yeah.
So times have changed. Times have changed since then.
Dude, the Indians have lost their land hundreds of years ago. Why would 8 years ago change? That's crazy. You're being like.
Yeah, because now people, minority groups, aren't afraid to speak out on stuff like this. Now they feel empowered to speak out against it. Now they don't feel like they have to, just smile and go be part of the go along gang. They can actually say
that's not right. That's not right. That's a small number.
From like 20 years ago.
Anybody that I talk to in the world that's involved, it's part of any of these minority groups that everyone is causing a thing, and now they're afraid to talk. Nobody has these opinions. It's the white people who are sitting back talking about the opinions of these people. They have no idea. I'm literally writing what this Native American wrote, and let me just read it again for the people that might have just tuned in. Walter Blackie Wetzel, a Blackfoot leader, designed the Washington Redskins. He designed it. It wasn't like he was just smiled and went along with it. He designed this logo, inspired by Chiefs Two Guns Whitecalf. It made us all so proud. Not that we just smiled and let it happen. It made us all so proud to have an Indian on a big-time team. This is giving recognition to these people, these particular group of people, on a big-time team. A group of radicals who oppose those names, again, coming from somebody that's Native American saying that. Indians are proud of Indians. Walter Blackie Wetzel. I don't understand what's so hard to understand about that. I don't get it. I don't get why people don't understand.
Only that small group mattered. Only that group mattered, not the ones that didn't like it. Okay. So the ones that do like it, they're cool.
They're screwed because they're taking that away from them. You are taking them what they're proud of, and they created off of this big time team. That's retarded.
So did the person who created this? So they probably got money for this, and no one else.
Well, of course, you would want money for anything that you do too.
Yeah. So the other people who weren't who are offended by it, they don't matter.
Oh, you know what you are?
That's cool. That's
You are a
fine.
defense lawyer. You could come up with anything out of your ass to defend anybody that has no reason to be. I don't get it. I don't get it.
So those people don't matter. Only the ones that are like, hey, cool.
No, they're the only ones that matter apparently because everything is getting stripped away from the Native Americans. You're right. There you go.
I find more white people are more offended by the name change.
That's right, white people.
Else.
Who cares what the white people are offended by? This is nothing about the white people.
No, I'm just saying, this came out of nowhere. Why are we talking about the name change? It's over.
Because I have continued to talk about it. Hold on, P. Morton. I'm still waiting for the Cleveland Caucasians. I've been saying that for years. I would be 100% supportive of that. And again, you know that I haven't stopped talking about this anything because it's stupid. I was doing the tomahawk chop with the Braves last week. I was with the Chiefs this week. And these two other teams, they totally abandoned the Native Americans. They abandoned them. They said that, you know what, you're not worth the risk. You're not worth the risk of keeping your identity on this. That's what happened. Because here's the thing. Why? Because people might get offended. So they're not worth, the Indians themselves aren't worth people that might get offended.
You're just making shit up as you go. Do you need some nails, man? You okay nailing yourself up on that cross?
That makes no sense. What are you talking about?
Yeah,
You're just making where's the hands with the cross? I mean, that has nothing to do with anything. I have a case. I have information in front of me. I have this information in front of me.
Information like times haven't changed in 20 years.
So you want it? So it had to be written yesterday evening. Mike, come on, that's silly. Come on.
Current data is awesome.
So past data means nothing. It means nothing. Mike, that's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah, past data. Yeah, things not like data changes daily.
That's just you're out of control.
You're out of control.
I'm not out of control.
All fired up. I'm over here.
I am not fired up. You're putting me on a cross. I have no idea what that even means. Because
you're acting like you're part of being the persecuted people.
I've never said that I'm part of being. I am defending this group of people by reading information that I have. How am I part? Please stop and tell me how am I part of the offended people? Please, where did I say?
You're flipping out over there on a team that
because you had me on a cross. Listen, if you would have took the conversation and had a conversation, it could have been a conversation. But you put me on a cross, and now that I am flipping because you're creating.
Flipping out like this came out of nowhere. Let's bring up an article from.
No, we've been talking. I've been talking about this regularly. I've been talking about this regularly. So I did a little research. Listen, would you let me talk? Would you let me talk? Would you let? No, I haven't been talking. You've been cutting me off. You've been putting me on a cross. Now, listen, I've been arguing this the whole entire time. I went and I pulled this information up so I could talk about it today because it's my argument. It's where I come from and what I'm saying. And for some reason, I'm the bad guy. I'm on a cross, and I'm calling myself an Indian, which none of those things are true. You're literally making these things up as we go.
Because this is a silly argument.
It's not a silly argument. It's a very serious argument because some of these people appreciate the fact that they're being celebrated on these football helmets. How is that a bad thing?
Like, I don't even care that the Washington they changed their name. They changed their name. People are like so. Like they changed their name 2 years ago, and people were still.
Yes, because it's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous that people cared that it was.
No, it's not ridiculous that people cared. It's a good thing that people care. It's a good thing that white people care about this shit. People would say, "Well, what do white people care as long as they get their money?" Listen, I care. I understand what you're saying. How is that a bad thing? How is that ludicrous?
You have a small minority that
No.
Like, all right, cool, we're cool with it. The other part, I was like, no, we're not.
See, now you're just making you have no number. You have no. You're just making that up. You're literally saying a small number of this, small number of that.
People protested against that name. Like Native Americans protested.
Those 4 people, they got what they want. So congratulations to them. Mike, we do only have 6 minutes left. I want to jump into a couple real quick. A couple quick news stories here before we have to take off for the day. A few things. The McRib Mike returns for its farewell tour. I hear the McRib is
what we should be fired up about.
I am fired up about this, and this is ultimately why I'm fired up about everything, because they're going to take our McRib away forever. I am so upset about this. Why? Why? Everybody runs out this time of year to get their McRib. What's going on?
Fucking nail me up on the cross on this one because I want my fucking McRib.
I'm gonna nail your.
God damn it.
I'm gonna nail your egg bag to a fucking cross.
Nail us both to a cross. I don't even know why I said it. You weren't being a martyr.
I did run a little bit more than that, so I probably should have.
Off, my guy, and I loved everything.
Let's see what else.
I want my McRib year round, and I want my Shamrock Shake year round too. What, if I was on death row, my last meal would be the McRib and the Shamrock Shake.
Dude,
they never kill you because they're never out at the same time.
I would have jumped into this whole Kanye West thing, the Adidas, the anti-Semitism, but I don't think today's a good day for that. Maybe we'll touch on that another day.
Easy does.
Let's see. Here's one that really gets me. It kind of gets me going, Mike. Is these kids now? These climate activists. Now these climate activists today, they threw mashed potatoes at $111 million Monet. And you remember in the past, I think last week they threw tomato soup at a Van Gogh, and somebody threw something at a Mona Lisa a couple months ago. We talked about on the show.
So luckily, all that shit's behind glass.
Yeah.
But like, come on now, I'm a big climate, I'm an activist, but I follow that stuff seriously because what the science says. But this is not how you do. Why are you going after these priceless works of art?
Right.
Nothing to do with this. These people had nothing. It'd be different if you're going to like a corporate headquarters and defacing their logo, that big polluters and stuff like that. Yeah, that's cool. People be like, fuck yeah. No, you're going after priceless art, cultural.
These guys
that have helped, not just human culture that you're going to try to destroy for attention. No, go after the corporations. This is performative activism. They're just trying to make it look like they're doing something good instead of actually trying to protest real things, real people that are actually causing climate change.
One more quick story, Mike. I just have to get this. I just have to get this one in. Guy lost his eye to cancer, replaced it with a bright light.
I see that.
Is that not the best awesome idea you've ever heard in your whole entire life?
Because right now, so on TikTok right now, people are jonesing for House of the Dragons.
Okay.
Game of Thrones prequel.
Okay.
One guy, he had his eye stabbed out and he replaced it with a sapphire. So you see, I've seen all the videos of that, people doing mocks and stuff.
Yeah.
And this guy came on up thinking, oh, he's going to do the same thing, and then boom, the flashlight.
Yeah.
I'm like, my man,
that is one of the most hardcore fucking things. If I were to lose an eye, what would you guys? I'd want like a steel or marble or something. I
would be the one that if I lose an eye, a limb,
you'd have a dildo hanging out of your eye hole.
I'd be so depressed. And now I see all these people that do cool shit like that.
Right.
These people are fucking badasses that do that. I would be so depressed, so distraught.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to do anything besides.
I saw this one girl. She has her fake arm, and she's sitting there playing the violin with it.
Right.
She's just a fucking badass.
I would beat the shit out of people with my fake arm.
I'd be sitting in the corner just crying, I can't play Call of Duty no more. And here she is, I'm just gonna go live my best life. This guy's turn around. I'm gonna have my own flashlight. Bitches, I'm never without a light.
Very depressing. I would agree 100%, Mike. I don't know if I would do.
People that do that shit, you're a fucking hero.
Yes. Mike,
you aren't nailing yourself to a cross.
Michael, we are down to 58 minutes. Why don't you go tell everybody about the website?
Over at TrueDominators.com, you can watch Mike nail himself to a cross. And you can find links to YouTube, Spotify, merchandise store.
That is P. Morton.
I'm just glad he didn't replace it with a fleshlight.
Yeah. Oh.
Yes, I went there.
I was going to go somewhere too, Mike.
Fleshlight on TrueDominators.com. We do not have those. They're currently out of stock. Ryan and I bought them all out.
Yes.
The whole me pimping the website has fallen apart the past 3 days.
Mike, are you ready? Are you ready for the daily quiz?
Yeah, I'm ready for this to be over.
How well do you know your enemies? This quiz, of course, is about the Philadelphia Eagles. That is who the Steelers are playing this week. Mike, let's get your pencil ready and let's roll. All right. So here we go. Question of the day. Play at home if you want. And you could write your answer right here on the screen. All right.
Ryan can't even look at me.
I haven't looked at Mike all in an hour. Who did the Eagles draft with the second overall pick in the 1999 draft? Let me read it one more time for you. Who did the Eagles draft with the number 2 overall pick in the 1999 draft?
Is that the dude who had like the great combine? I think it is. I think it is. Ooh. I totally forgot about him. I totally forgot. How can I forget? He was a damn good quarterback.
All right. So P. Morton, he submitted his answer. I'll read it one more time in case anybody missed it. Who did the Eagles draft with the second overall pick in the 1999 draft? Like P. Morton says, Donovan McNabb. That's a good pick.
Yeah,
Syracuse quarterback.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with my first instinct because I totally forgot about McNabb. Because I got so excited. It's like, oh, Mike Mamola, the combine warrior. He turned out to be a bust. So I'm gonna go with that answer, and I think that's wrong because he was drafted way earlier.
All right, so you say Mike Mamola.
Yeah.
What's it? Who's his name?
Mamola.
Mamola. I don't even know who this guy is. I can't believe you picked him.
Yeah, he was a combine warrior.
Okay.
I thought that would be like I thought that's who we were talking about. Then
And P said Donovan McNabb,
yeah,
quarterback out of Syracuse, obviously having a great career with the Philadelphia Eagles. Okay, one more time, everybody, for the who did the Eagles draft with the number 2 overall pick in the 1999 draft? Mike says Mongolians, and P says McNabb.
Mongolians. How can Mongolians take that much you want?
And that, of course, Mike, your answer is. Oh, I'm so sorry. It's incorrect. The answer P was correct. Donovan McNabb. He did get drafted number 2 overall in the 1999 draft class out of Syracuse. One of my favorite quarterbacks of all time.
Was it like him and Dante Culpepper?
That was all
and
even Peyton Manning was. I don't remember if he was 98, I think, but all in them 2 years there was all these quarterbacks. It was just Michael, do you have anything before we take off for the day, man?
Who wants to help me nail stuff?
Just put them fucking nails away already.
What the fuck was I thinking? How many people can we offend in one episode? Let's try
Hey, that's all good. That's what we. That's part of the description. We're going to offend you eventually. Listen, everybody, we do
support you, but we will
exactly. Exactly. I was defending the Indians while I was going at the same time. So that gives you enough. That don't give you an idea. All right, everybody, we do thank you so much for watching. We are on every day, Monday through Friday, on YouTube from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. Please continue to keep checking us out. And this show that we do today will get uploaded later on in the day at 8 o'clock over on Spotify if you just wanted to listen to the show in podcast form. And we do want to thank everybody, as always, again, for everything, tuning in, writing us. Totally, greatly, 100% appreciated. For Ryan, Mike, the 2 dumb Yinzers, we'll see you tomorrow.
Maybe.